Okay, this is the next section, section 3.2. We're going to be adding integers. So 3.1, we learned all about the integers, absolute value, opposites, evaluating, and this section we're going to be adding them. So you might already know how to add them. If you don't need to draw them out, I'm going to draw them out just for people who are having trouble. So let's say, what can we start with? Let's see. Okay. So what if I have whoops. Okay. Let's say I want to add a positive and a positive. Okay, I'm getting these from page 213 in the first edition book. Okay, so this is just a regular add. If they're both positive, 7 is positive and 4 is positive. So both positive numbers just do a regular addition. Just add them together. Okay, so 7 plus 4 is 11, and you're done. Let me do another one of those. What if I had 8 plus 5? So I'm looking at the 8 is positive, the 5 is positive. They're both positive numbers. Just do a regular addition. What's 8 plus 5? 13. That's it, you're done. Okay. Okay, again. Let's say I've got a negative 7 and a positive 5. So I've got one negative and one positive. So I've got one negative, my 7 is negative, my 5 is positive. So I can draw them out. Let me draw it out first, okay? Let's see, negatives I'm going to use, well, let's say negatives I'm going to use black. So I've got, these are negative. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 negatives. Okay? And then I've got 5 positives. Now you don't have to draw them out if you don't want to. There's other methods you can use. I'm just drawing these out because the book does. And I've got 5 positives. So I'm going to put pluses on these blue chips. Okay. So this is a picture. This is a picture of this. So this is 7 negatives and 5 positives. What happens when a negative and a positive charge come together? What happens here, 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 and here? If I have a negative 1 and a positive 1, what happens? It comes out to 0. If I'm adding opposites, like a negative 2 and a positive 2, or a negative 1 and a positive 1, opposites will cancel each other out, and they will go to 0. So 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. here's what's left. And what is that? 2 negatives. So -7 plus 5 is 2 negatives, or -2. And you can always draw these if you want, or I'm going to show you another way to do it as well. But they do this in the book. They draw them out. However many negatives there are, you can make those your negative chips. However many positives there are, you can make those your positive chips. And if you can put them one underneath each other and cancel them out if they're opposites, and what's ever left is your answer. So -2 is the answer. Now another way to do this is if you have one negative and one positive, like we have a -7 and a +5, we can take the two numbers and subtract them. Make the numbers both positive. Just a little note. This says make numbers both positive. Okay? So I'm going to take these two numbers and I'm going to subtract them. I'm going to make them both positive. So I'm going to say 7 minus 5. And when I do that, I get a 2. But I'm not done. To determine the sign that goes in front of the number, see which number has more negatives or more positives. And that's the sign you're going to go with. Okay? So we made these a +7 minus a +5, and we subtracted and we got a 2. Now I need to know what sign am I going to go with the answer. What sign is going to go with the answer? So my original problem, let me write this. Was -7 plus 5. Okay, who has more? Are there more negatives with the 7 or more positives with the 5? Well, there's more negatives with the 7. So my final answer is -2. So to recap, I subtracted both of those. First, I made the 7 positive and subtracted, and I got a 2. And then I looked and saw back at the original problem who had more, and there are more negatives with the 7 than there are positives with the 5. So we put the negative in front of the 2 because there's more negatives, so the final answer is -2. So you can do it either way. You can draw them, or you can do the subtraction, however you want to do it. So let's say I have, this is still from the book, 213. Let's say I have 48. And you'll see they will put parentheses around the negative. And for some people, that's confusing. So if you don't want to put these parentheses here, you do not have to. You can get rid of them. So you can just say 48 plus a negative 16. So you can draw out 48 negative circles. I'm sorry, positive circles. You can draw out 48 positive circles and put 16 negative underneath there if you want to do that. Or we can do method number 2, which I think is easier if you don't want to draw out a lot of circles. So we're going to subtract. Okay. Subtract. And 8 minus 6 is 2, and 4 minus 1 is 3. Okay, and what sign? So the answer is going to be either positive or negative. So we've got 48 positives, and we've got 16 negatives. So who has more? Well, 48 has more. So the answer is positive, because 48 has more positives. So positive 32 is my final answer. Okay. Let me punch this one in the calculator for you real quick. So this is the calculator. I'm going to start using the calculator more. So here is my calculator. If you can see it, let me bring it down a little bit. Okay. So I'm going to put that last one I did in. Let's see if that helps. So I'm turn it on down here. Clear everything out. Okay. Better? And I'm going to put in 48 plus, and there was parentheses around the negative 16. So the parentheses are above the 8 and the 9. So I'm going to put a parenthesis in. Negative is down here below the 3. So I'm going to put a negative in. And I'm going to put in my 16. And then the other parenthesis is above the 9. I'm going to close it. So I've got in 48 plus a negative 16. And I'm going to hit enter, which is right next to negative. And that's what we got, positive 32. So it is good if you're doing these on the homework to check them with your TI-30XS calculator. And I think I got this for like $11 or $12. Either at Walmart or Target. So you can always use this as a checking tool. Okay? So let me stop there, and I'm going to do more in the next video.